that, and then if you can connect that past to your current, I think it'll help you understand yourself at a little deeper of a level, and maybe things will start to make more sense. I've done a lot of that retrospective reflection, and that's helped me a lot.
And now I do it without even thinking about it. Money's the same way. You just have to face this. Open the closet. Trust me, the snakes that you think are in there are actually teddy bears. You just have to face it and decide to learn about it.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of Next Level University, where we teach you how to level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode, number 1040, another reason why you need to consistently fill your cup. Today, for episode number 1041, where your fear of money comes from. When I was just a young man, I believe I was maybe 26 years old, 25 or 26. I remember I texted somebody. His name was Alan Lazaros. And I said, Alan, I currently have a credit card statement, or I have a credit card bill. I am in $7,000 of credit card debt. Discover they want their money back. What do I do? And he said, well, can you afford to just pay it off all at once? And I said, absolutely. I got 15 grand sitting in the bank. And he said, why haven't you just paid it off? And I said, I don't know. I'm afraid if I spend all that money, I might need it. What if I need that money? What if I need that liquid cash? And he said, Kev.
That's not what you said.
No, it's not what I said.
What if I need that liquid capital? What if I need that cash on hand?
What if I need that cash on hand? Funny. What if I have some unnecessary expenses come about?
This is before Kevin was CFO.
Yes. This is the point of this episode. I didn't understand a couple things. One, I didn't understand why not paying the credit card off was a bad decision. And at a deeper level, I didn't believe that I would be able to make enough money in case something happened. I had $15,000 in the bank, not because I wanted $15,000 in the bank, because I was trying to save as much money as humanly possible, because I was so uncertain about how to make more money, about how money actually worked, about how to budget, about how debt worked. I had no idea or no understanding. They gave me this credit card, and I was like, cool, free money. I'm gonna throw some stuff on this, and I threw some stuff on it. And then they came knocking. And they said we'd like some of our money back. And I was like, interesting. Well, that's less than ideal, but I guess I could pay all this off if I wanted to. So that was the conversation I had with Alan. Is, hey, I know that you made a lot of money, and I know you know finance well, and you have an understanding of these things, numbers. What do you think I should do? And Alan said, you should pay it all off. You have plenty to do it. And I remember the day I did it. I remember I screenshotted it and sent it to you. And I think it said you paid off $7,500 or whatever it was. And I remember I screenshotted it and sent it to you and said, I did it, man. And you're like, all right, man, strong work. And
that was back in the Snapchat days.
That was back in the Snapchat. Yeah, I don't know why we were Snapchatting. That doesn't make any sense. Perfectly good cell phones. But yeah, the point of this episode and the reason I told that story is because many people's fear of money comes from uncertainty. They don't understand how money works. They don't understand how to make more of it. They don't understand how small lifestyle changes can make a big difference. They don't understand that if they're in debt, there is a way to get out of debt if you do it in the right way. So we don't talk about money very often. I mean, we talk about limiting expenses and that sort of thing. But I think this is an important lesson, an important episode. And I have a couple other stories that I'll pepper in after Alan tells his, because I think one of the places your fear of money comes from is lack of certainty, lack of awareness, and not knowing if you can replicate your results. But I have a couple other options and stories that I will share after.
A cother. I have a cother.
That's my
couple other.
That's what I'm gonna. It's one of those days, Alan, where it's just like, look, I'm gonna try my best.
I like it, man. No, it's fun.
We're gonna see what happens.
Your brain likes to.
My brain's faster than my mouth.
Combine words.
Yeah, my brain's faster than my mouth.
For sure, for sure. A cother. Couple other. Mm-hmm. That's got to be in the NLU glossary.
Right next to Jeffin.
Yeah, right next to Jeffin. So the reason, again, great opener, Kev. So one thing that I didn't always understand was how much certainty I have on a day-to-day basis, not because of anything external, but because of my own understanding of math. And I'm trying to deliver a lot of that certainty to my clients, and I am consistently doing that. I was on the phone with a client earlier, 24 years old, awesome guy, big financial goals, computer science, and he is on his path to becoming a multimillionaire, and that's awesome. And it really is just numbers, and we have him tracking it. We have something called the Next Level Financial Tracker that is essentially just a spreadsheet that helps you stay on track with your finances. And it seems like this massive mountain that you have to climb, and it's actually much simpler than that. And so this is the analogy. When we're swimming in the ocean, the reason we have uncertainty and fear is because we don't know what's beneath us. We don't understand what might be swimming underneath us. You ever been at the beach, Kevin? You see something like a fish or something, and you're like, nope,
of course,
don't like it at all, right?
I don't want to go in the water. Ever.
Exactly.
I don't even like lakes.
Too much uncertainty.
I don't even
Too
like
much
lakes.
Uncertainty. What if you had absolute certainty that it was not dangerous and that there was nothing beneath you? What if you had absolute certainty in the ocean that there was no other fish and it was just you swimming, right? That's why you're not scared in a pool, because you know what's beneath you. And so that's kind of what finance is like. When you understand the fundamentals of finance, you have certainty around your own financial future because you know how to produce the outcome. So I digress. I had Emilia and I, we do relationship talks coaching, and we've been doing it for probably a year and a half now, maybe almost 2 years now, which is awesome. Crazy. Time flies. But we started coaching this couple, young couple, financial goals. They have their dreams together, and we do vision boarding. So essentially what a we board is so Kevin has a vision board on his background, and it's the background of your phone as well, right? We did an episode on vision boarding. I don't know which episode that was.
It was a minute ago.
Yeah, it was probably 3 or 4 months ago or something like that.
I can show the camera while Alan's talking.
Perfect. So if you're on YouTube, you can see Kevin's background of his phone. It's got his dog. It's got cash on it. It's got his dream home, his dream car. It's got some pooches. A couple dogs. Yep. Taryn and him are on there.
Yep.
A we board is, imagine if him and Taryn got together and then created one together. That's what a we board is. So we were doing the we board. In other words, what's the mutual vision that they want to achieve? And inevitably, by the way, everyone out there listening or watching this, your dreams require money, whether you like it or not. I have yet to find a client who has a dream that doesn't have something to do with money, at least a part of their dream. Now, your dream relationship might not require money. Your dream body might not require a lot of money, but you still need a gym membership, maybe a personal trainer, that kind of thing. So your future is going to require money, and so if you don't master this money thing, you're not going to be able to achieve your dreams. And Kevin and I want to help you achieve your dreams. So I was on the phone with this couple, and they were talking about their dreams. They want to have a horse farm on the side of a mountain, and they want to have horses, obviously, and they want to do all these things. And so we eventually started talking about the fears and the uncertainties about that, because the female in the relationship was concerned about the debt that she was in. So she was in a lot of debt from school, or at least what she said was a lot of debt. And I said, trust me, you're better than you think. We just got to go through this. So what we did is we sat down and I took them through the 7 fundamentals of finance. And if you're curious as to what those are, you can reach out. We have something called the Next Level Financial Assessment. We've got a lot of resources. So reach out if you want to go deeper on this. I'm going to keep this high level. But I'm on the phone with this couple and we're going through her finances. It's like, okay, here's how much you make. Okay, here's how much you're spending each month. Here's how much is left over. Okay, here's how much you have in assets. Okay, here's how much you have in debt. And we got through the numbers. Kev, it wasn't a couple weeks ago that the male partner in this relationship said, my girlfriend's on fire. She's ready to rock. She's eager. She's excited. She finally has certainty of how she's actually going to create that future, because she thought she was in this deep, dark hole that was not possible to climb out of. And again, kind of similar like you with the credit card. You're like, can I pay this off? The uncertainty caused you to do nothing instead of the certainty of like, yeah, Kev, just pay it off. You're going to be fine. That's kind of what this is. And so what this episode's going to be about is, if you have uncertainty around money, we got to figure out why. and at least start to unpack this and start to become more familiar with it. So anyone watching or listening, there's something that you're very comfortable with that at one point you were probably uncomfortable with. It can be something as simple as Kevin and I have been fishing for a really long time. I remember the first time I went fishing, I was a little kid, and I didn't know how to put the worm on the hook. I had no idea how to tie a bobber. I've never tied a fishing knot. I remember my stepdad teaching me how to do a fishing knot, and it's a whole thing. Mm-hmm. And now I do it without even thinking about it. Money's the same way. You just have to face this, open the closet. Trust me, the snakes that you think are in there are actually teddy bears. You just have to face it and decide to learn about it.
The other thing I wanted to add to this, Alan, is I was thinking, I've done a lot of thinking when it comes to money, because money was one of the biggest limiting beliefs, fears, uncertainties that I had for a long time, and you've helped me a lot with that. But one of the things that helped me was reflecting in my past, and I have a couple stories of why, if you said, Kev, why do you value money so much? And why do you think it has run parts of your life? I would give you two different stories. When I believe I was 10 years old playing Little League, I was up, bases loaded. I was up to the plate, and my mom was behind the backstop. And she said, Kev, if you hit a grand slam, I'll give you a $100 bill. And I was like, woo, damn. Next pitch, I hit a grand slam. And she gave me, she proceeded after the game to give me a crisp $100 bill. I don't know where she got that $100 bill, but I took it.
What'd you do with it? What'd you do with it?
Oh, who knows? I don't know. Probably bought something stupid. Video games, probably.
Yeah, most
back
likely.
in the day, that was probably a couple PlayStation 2 games.
$17.95, boss.
$17.95, boss.
Can
That's
you
a whole
tell
other...
that story real quick? That was funny.
I used to work at a gas station, as many of you know, and we had a food truck. So if you work on a construction site, if you work in a garage, there's oftentimes a food truck that comes by, because part of their business is I go to places where people can't leave their job, and I bring breakfast, I bring lunch, maybe I bring dinner. And when I worked at the gas station, there was this guy, his name was Mike. He used to pull in and he would toot, toot the horn. And every single day he would come, and he had everything from, breakfast sandwiches to desserts and ice cream. So everything, pizza, onion rings, subs, Snickers, Skittles, energy drinks, coffee, anything you could need, they had. I think they had aspirin and Tylenol and Tums, anything you could ever need. But it was very much the Wild West. So I usually got this, like, the same things, and every day the price was different. So he used to go, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll kind of do it, but say you had a bunch of stuff in your hands. All right, so I'm holding it. I'm like, all right, this is what I have today. And he'd go, okay, $4.50, $3.75, $17.50, boss. And then you would just pay him, and he would give you the change back. There was no register, there was no receipts. But the funny thing is, you could get the same thing 3 days in a row, and it would always be a different price. $16.50, boss. It just kind of depended on what he felt on the day. Nice guy. And I was always very, very happy that he would come in, because I was hungry. But I spent a lot of money. I mean, when you're making $9 an hour and you're spending $27 on food, there goes 3 hours of work right there. So not good for the
not
bottom
the most
line.
economical decision-making
Definitely
paradigm.
not. But I did what I felt I had to do in the moment. So
Yep.
I don't know what I spent the money on after my mom gave me that crisp $100 bill after I hit that grand slam. But so that right there is a sign of me being rewarded with money. Okay. There was another time where my mom just out of nowhere said, hey, if you make my bed, I'll give you $100. And I was like, what is this? What are we doing here? What kind of trick is this? I made the bed. She gave me $100. So there's a second thing of me being rewarded with money. And I think it's just the fact that that's one of the ways my mom shows love and appreciation through that. We were never financially stable. So I want to put that out there. It's not like we had the money to be giving $100 bills out for making the bed. There's far cheaper ways to get that done. But my mom always was like a big tipper. Even at Burger King or Dunkin' Donuts, she'd pay for the coffee of the person behind us, or she'd give the people behind the counter a tip. So she's always been very, very generous. And that's one of the places I get it from for sure. But if you think about it, where did my association with money come from? It came from us being very, very broke and me being rewarded with money. So that's the way I have been set up. I love giving money to people. I'm reckless with money. I'm way less reckless than I've ever been, for sure. But giving money to people makes me feel really good because I understand how good that makes them feel. And that was just something that was instilled in me from a young age. So when we're talking about your fear of money or where your uncertainty of money or where your relationship with money comes from, you got to look back into your past and figure out, well, in my family, the conversation was always, I don't know how we're going to pay rent. So that probably instilled fear and uncertainty. And there were times where we couldn't pay rent and I couldn't help. So that hurt me. And then if you can connect that past to your current, I think it'll help you understand yourself at a little deeper of a level, and maybe things will start to make more sense. I've done a lot of that retrospective reflection, and that's helped me a lot.
Kev, I'm going to turn the tables here, ask you some stuff. So,
oh boy.
What has changed primarily between the Kevin who spent $27 at lunch when he was making $9 an hour and bought a brand new Subaru when he was making $13 an hour, which I would argue, with all the love in the world, was irrational decision making.
Yes.
You wouldn't do that now, and I think that the difference between now and then is awareness. And I often talk about this, so I'm not beating Kevin up at all. You know, I made some really dumb choices in high school. We all do. High schoolers make irrational choices, statistically speaking. And, you know, I always ask people in the audience when I do give a speech, like, can you please think of a time in high school when you did something really, really unintelligent that you would never do again? And everyone's like, oh, I got one. And it's like, okay, why would you never do that again? You are now aware of the long-term consequences of that. So, Kev, you've shifted a ton. I mean, now you're the CFO of a fast-growing company, and we've trusted you with that, and you track finances every day. It's awesome. Your awareness has 10x'd. What is different? What in particular? What can you give to the listeners that you didn't have back then?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is number one, you've helped me tremendously. You've raised my awareness a lot, so that's number one. But I've studied it a lot more. I mean, that's really...
What in particular, though? And I really appreciate the compliment. That's not why I'm asking, though. Like, what fundamental mindset shifts do you now... Like, what are the fundamentals that you now have that you did not understand back then? If you were to be just really vulnerable and honest about it.
I would say one of the things is the long-term detriment of buying expensive things. I know that sounds very, very simple, but... So to Alan's point, I bought a brand new Subaru WRX. It was a 2011. I bought it in 2011, brand new, 0 miles. It was never been driven. It was my car. And I think it was $25,000. And I was only thinking of, well, I can afford this right now. It's $421 a month. I can afford this for the next 5 years. That's not a big deal. $421, that's not that much for this. The understanding that you don't know what's going to happen in a year, or you don't know what's going to happen in 2 years, or you don't know what's going to happen in 5 years, and you could be handcuffing yourself long term. That was one thing for sure. And then really thinking about, okay, well, I was making $13 an hour times 40, what's that, 520? I was probably making like $750 a week before taxes with overtime, so I was probably taking like $500 at home. Like, that's literally a fifth of my money.
Yep.
So I'm spending a fifth. I'm spending a lot of money on this car, a fifth of my money. And that's not thinking of like, well, when I want to get an apartment, how am I going to do that? If I want to travel, how am I going to do that? So I think for me, one of the things you've helped with is emotion versus logic. Emotionally, buying stuff feels really good. Logically, if you can think of it from a logical standpoint of, well, do I really need this? So I'll be vulnerable with this. My 2011 Subaru WRX, the turbo exploded, and I ended up getting a 2013. And I had that until 2 years ago. And it was still my baby. I still loved it. It was loud. It was fast. It was my baby. But when the engine exploded on that, you and I had a talk, and it was like, it's not the right time for you to go buy an expensive car. It's just not. It's not the right time. Could we do it? Yeah, we could. I mean, we could make it work for sure, but it's not the right time to do that where we are in business. And that was very hard for me. Genuinely, I went from driving what was my dream car at one point to just a car. And I remember when I went into the dealership, they're like, what are you looking for? And I said, I want something that is going to get me from point A to point B. That's it. And they're like, anything specific? I said, nope, anything. Just give me whatever. Like, I don't care. That was all it was for me. And that was a weird experience. So that was part of it too, is I went in logically way more than emotionally. I said, I'm looking for something that has good gas mileage and is safe. I don't really care about anything else. Sunroof, I don't care about any of that. So that's a big one. Logic versus emotion.
Bonnie here. I just wanted to share my experience with group coaching and some of the things that I got out of it. So going into group coaching, I was not tracking any habits at all. And I had sort of jumped on board habit tracking here and there, knowing it was a good idea, but not sort of ever succeeding with it. And so now some of them have become habits. I'm happy to say I wake up, I have a glass of water without even thinking about it anymore. So now I think it's probably time to gear up and like increase my water intake or change the water one a little bit, something like that. And so I highly encourage people to jump into group coaching. There's so much information that you will get out of it. I recommend bringing a notebook to all of the sessions and taking lots of notes, asking lots of questions, and rewatching the videos, because it is the video coaching part is just packed with information. I also really recommend that you check in with your accountability buddy and sort of lift each other up throughout the experience, because there's lots of momentum, it's really exciting, and then it gets hard. And so stick with it and carry on, and your life will be better for it. Okay, take care.
There's a lot of layers underneath why it's unintelligent to buy a new car when your income is low.
Yeah.
And I just unpack the layers here. And again, this is logic, not emotion. So if you dislike what I'm saying, it's understandable, but it is mathematically true. A car depreciates faster than other assets. So a car is a depreciating asset. What that means is it loses its value very quickly. And so think about this. The $431 you're referring to, what if Kevin were to use that money to buy a new laptop that makes him more productive, and then a new camera to make this podcast more valuable, and then a new microphone, and then a better cell phone bill so he has better data service, and a higher quality Wi-Fi so that he can be more. So those are intelligent choices that will make him more money. Money is supposed to be the difference between consuming and investing is that an investment is done with the idea of investing this money today will make me more money tomorrow. Kev, I was looking this up with a client earlier because a lot of my clients are really big into business and finance and numbers. We looked it up. Tesla 5 years ago, man, was trading at $46 a share. You know what it's at right now?
4 something?
Dude, it's crazy. I think it's at like 1,200.
Oh my goodness.
It's something wild. And it's skyrocketed. If you bought Apple stock 5 years ago, you would have tripled your money. If you bought Tesla stock 5 years ago, you would have 10x'd your money. So there's, not only is it unintelligent to purchase things that depreciate in value, but instead of buying things that depreciate, what if you purchase things that appreciate in value? In other words, they become more valuable. That's why when you buy a home that's in a really good area with really good schools and you invest your money in that home, you can sell it for a lot more money later. And if you understand the math behind all of this, you'll understand why. And I want to be vulnerable and honest and upfront. Kevin and I are projected to gross $500,000 this year. And in this business, we've grossed, at the end of this year, it'll be well over that. I still drive a 2008 Subaru. And I now understand the implications of that, because I think people presuppose that I'm not successful because when they see it's a 2008 Subaru. It's not the nicest car, but it's safe and it's reliable and it has all-wheel drive for the winter.
Hey.
And we actually just...
Reliable? In
yeah, in air quotes. And the headlight keeps going out. No, I'm joking. But the reason why is because I would rather invest that money in our team, in our equipment, in our business. It's not... Driving a flashy car is quite frankly, a waste of money in many ways. And again, I know that's probably going to hit home in a bad way for people. But the point is this. If you want to purchase things, think about it this way. This is the last thing I'll say about this. if you invest your money into our group coaching program, that group coaching program is going to make you 10 times more money later. Hands down, if not 100 times more, honestly. I know that program has changed people's lives. Versus if you invest that $431 a month into a new car, it's not going to make you any more money, most likely. Unless you're in real estate, in which case you pull up in a nice car, people assume you know more. So there's nuances to this. But on this episode, we just want to be upfront with you. There is long-term decision-making paradigms with money, and there's short-term decision-making paradigms with money, and you have to try to balance them. And I think, Kev, you've started to understand the long-term implications of short-term decision-making paradigms, and I think that as CFO, it's your job to make sure that we're investing our capital in intelligent ways that are good for the end game, for the long run, not just what we want right now. Of course, we could both go afford new cars right now. Of course we could, right? I mean, I have a $25,000 credit limit on my credit card. I could go do it right now. That's the worst idea ever, financially. And so it's just important to understand that.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that I think you have to study more, and then it becomes more normal. I really believe that. I think it's like, how many people have actually studied finance or numbers or money or investment or interest rates or the compound effect or exponentials? It's just one of those things that if you don't have a high level of awareness, you're not going to have a high level of confidence. That's all. That's all it is. I'm way more confident as a podcaster now because I just have done it for so long. And now I have understandings. You can kind of connect dots. You can connect dots based on what you know. So I had something happen the other day, Alan. This actually happened. I told you about this. We have a mixer. It's a whole thing. We have a lot of technology behind the scenes that makes this podcast work. But one of the things is I have a cable that runs from the thing that I connect my microphone to into my laptop so I can use it when we're doing this. And for some reason, my microphone kept disconnecting. And this happened to Alan in the past.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, it doesn't always disconnect. There's nothing wrong with the quality. I know the mixer works. What's going on here? Oh, I need a new USB. My USB must be loose where it's plugged into my laptop. Cool. It's very similar where you might say, okay, I really want to buy something, but let me think about that for a second. Based on what I've learned and based on what I've practiced, that's probably not the best choice for me to make right now. When your awareness raises, you can make more intelligent decisions. You can make longer term decisions, and you can make decisions based on things that you've done before. So when Alan told me to pay down my debt then, that helped me pay down my debts later when I realized, oh, you've already done this before. Or, maybe
What was the interest rate on that first car?
20.
It was like 20, yeah.
Yeah, 20%.
I just want to be clear with everyone. I asked the interest rate before I had him do that.
Yes.
Because 24%, you're not going to make that money back investing it anywhere else, most likely. I mean, you could, right? If Tesla, obviously you did, but
well, I wasn't investing in. I believe at the time I had three stocks. I was invested in Apple, but I had 3 shares. I had 3 shares of Apple at 100.
Oh, nice.
I think it was $126 a pop.
You got to hang on to those bad boys.
No,
those
I had to sell them.
I had to
sell them because I needed all the money I could get because work was slow. It was a whole thing.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I had quite the portfolio back in the day too.
I needed that $300
capital
or whatever it was, $415. I needed it.
Bad. Needed it. Couple fundamentals, bullet points. Hammer it. What are the 3 things people need to know about finance, Mr. CFO?
Oh man, for most people, I really think I think the number one thing for most people is limit your expenses. You got to keep your expenses as low as possible. I really think that's the number one because you don't understand how fast your expenses add up. That's the biggest thing. I had a call with somebody recently, and I said, let's just go through your finances. This person was in group coaching, and they said, hey, can you help me with my finances? I said, yeah, I don't want to charge you. Let's just get on the phone. And I said, walk me through what you're paying for. And you can see very quickly that $5 $9.99 apps that you have, that's $50 a month. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. That adds up pretty quick. So I think for most people, that's a big one. I would say learning how to make more money. If you're out there, there's a way to make more money. It's just a matter of whether or not you want to invest the time to do it. And maybe your circumstances, you're in a place where you don't want to do that. But I think there's always a way to do it. I would say there's always a way to do it. And to Alan's point, where are you investing money to help you get better? I've had so many people, Alan, and I don't have any problem with this because I understand people are in a different place in their life, but we'll be talking about group coaching or we'll be talking about one-on-one coaching or an event, and they'll say, yeah, right now, money's very tight. I can't do that right now. But you'll see these people out every single week for dinner. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe you value dinner more than education. I totally understand. But it's not that you don't have the money. It's that you're not willing to invest the money into yourself. And again, I love dinner, so don't get me wrong. I have nothing against that. And in the past, I've definitely made that decision as well. But you would be better off investing that money into yourself. 100%, because then you become more capable, and then you're more capable of making more money. Then that's how the train rolls. So I would say those are a simple 3.
I'm leaning into, in my life with every client, every team member, Emilia even, I'm leaning into helping people make more money.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that you and I are in a place where we're making a lot of money, and that's increasing every day, because now I feel like I feel very integrous teaching it. I used to make a ton of money too back then, but when we were broke entrepreneurs, it was harder for me to teach these things authentically when we weren't making a lot. The first couple of years in podcasting, Kevin and I focused on our character a lot more than our finances. And now that we're really coming up on the financial goals, it feels really congruent for me to teach these things. And I also now have awareness that these aren't not normal. Like, a lot of people really don't understand finance, and that's okay. I think it's important. I mean, you use money every single day. So if you make one decision after listening to this episode, like, go study money. If you want to have a lot of money, you have to study it. Like, you have to.
What are good resources? Yeah. Good resources.
Anyone can reach out to us if you want the next level financial assessment. We have a bunch of resources, genuinely. Group coaching is a good resource too. But some good resources would be Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a book you can read. That'll get you in the investing mindset for sure. Money Master the Game, it's intense. It's Tony Robbins' book. He interviews a lot of billionaires, but the fundamentals are in there. There's a shorter version called Unshakable. A lot of that's about investing, though. In a weird way, I'm wondering if there are a lot of good financial resources. There's Dave Ramsey, and there's a lot of the industry. The financial industry really is banks and investment firms that are really trying to help you genuinely, but they're also taking a piece of it.
Yeah.
And so in my coaching, what I try to share with people are the fundamentals. And I probably will end up writing a book about, I'm doing optimizing for business, optimizing for money, optimizing for success, like optimizing for fulfillment. And the reason why I'm going to optimize for finance, I think, or optimizing for money, I'll probably call it that. We'll see. But reach out to Kevin or I. If you listen to this show, we will jump on the phone and teach you the 7 fundamentals of finance. They are a lot easier than you think. This client, this relationship talks coaching client, Emilia and I got off the phone, and Emilia was like, great job. That's amazing. Like, it's a lot simpler than you realize when it's broken down in a simple way. These 7 fundamentals are not super difficult. You just have to kind of have to decide, okay, this is going to be overwhelming at first, but I'm going to start to get it. And once it clicks, it really does click. And Kevin came to me all those years ago, like, can I pay off this credit card? And now he's literally running the finances of a soon-to-be multi-million-dollar business. So transformation can happen. It really can. And yeah, reach out to us. Group coaching has a thing. We're going to start talking more about money on this podcast as well. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I don't know if I feel comfortable recommending much else, because I don't know if I think it's as valuable. There's some Benjamin Franklin books and different stuff like that, but I think reach out to me if you want help. And I'm happy. I love this stuff. I am obsessed with this stuff. So I'm happy to help.
That's what I will say today. I know we usually talk about group coaching or online courses or whatever it may be. That's what I will say today. If you ever have any questions about anything, I think that we're in an interesting spot and we're in an interesting industry where people don't want to give you value for free. If you reach out to me, I'll speak for myself, but I know Alan mirrors this. If you reach out with a question, like, we'll give you an answer. I'm not going to say, hey, you got to pay me for that. Please, like, I'm happy to hop on a free call as long as my calendar allows it. Like, I'm happy to do that because at the end of the day, we want to help. That's what it's about. It's about helping you. So send me an audio, send me a video, send me a question, whatever it is, anything you ever need. If it's about podcasting, send me a message. If it's about finance, send me a message. If it's about relationships, send me a message. Send Alan a message. Alan studies relationships more than I do. Alan studies finance more than I do. That's where I learn all the finance stuff. So please use us as resources as much as you feel necessary. And it's also a great opportunity to get out of your comfort zone. I know it's challenging to ask for help. I know it's challenging to message a stranger because if we've never talked, we probably feel like a stranger. But I can promise you that behind the scenes, we're the same as we are on these microphones. And our goal is to help as many people as possible. So if you do need help with anything, do not ever hesitate to reach out. We will always do our best to accommodate and add value. That's our goal.
If you're a listener of this show, that is our priority. Our priority is to meet you, help you. If you're a part of this community, the community doesn't grow if you aren't willing to grow as well. And that's what Kevin and I want to pour into. And I don't want you to feel obligated of, if I jump on the phone, am I going to have to do coaching? No. We love to meet our listeners. Love it. Literally, we got an email from a listener right before this. I shared it with Kevin when we should have been recording. Like, we love to meet our listeners. So please reach out. There is no strings attached, genuinely. You can book on our calendars in the show notes. Kev, you have a half-hour link for that?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Next Level Nation tomorrow for episode number 1042. Is your mindset holding you back? We are going to talk about the framework from Carol Dweck's book Mindset, which was a recent book, or the recent book that we were doing, Alan was doing in book club. I can't say we because I haven't attended. Maybe one day I will. So yes, if you listen to that, I'm sure there will be value there. I think Alan will probably be leading that episode more than I. So if you don't like when Alan leads, you can just skip that one. No, I'm totally kidding. Totally kidding. Next Level Nation, as always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we do not have fans. We have family. We will talk to you tomorrow.
Please reach out.